matters. They don't all like the same thing. Not everybody's going to want to do a science and math activity. There are things that some people just want to do, go out and serve at a homeless shelter. Or there's different passions. So we try to match that employee passion to some of the activities that we have going on. And then we track their involvement, we try to survey their interests, we try to empower employee champions to be able to take the lead on some of those kind of programs, and really do try to capture that passion that they have there. Because what we found is those passionate employees bring other employees along and get them involved too. We also try to strategically identify our partners in the community. So while we have strategic focus, we know that there's some of our nonprofit partners out there and some of the other organizations that we work with, that we want to make sure that we have representation from TI working with those organizations. It could be through board leadership committees or some other kind of engagement there. And so we try to target those. We have a list of which ones we think those are, and we try to make sure that we have some of our top leaders working with those organizations. We don't assign them though. We work with them, we try to understand what their passion is, again, because if they're not passionate about that organization, they're not going to go, they're not going to attend, and they're not going to represent your company well. The other thing we do is we provide training internally for our employees to make sure that they understand what does it mean to serve with a nonprofit. How do you serve as a board member? It makes them more valuable going on to the boards of these nonprofits as well. It makes them a better resource for the nonprofit as well as a good representative of our company too. And so finally, you'll see a couple of things up here. We really try to recognize our employees for their contributions. This does a couple of things. Number one, it makes them feel good about what they do. And number two, it inspires our other employees to try to want to do some other things too. Plus, it again reinforces the fact that the company thinks this is important. We recently just expanded our recognition program globally this time for the first year. So we recognized 16 individuals and 3 groups are from around the world for the things that they're doing in the community. And then lastly is transparency. We talked about the criteria for the top 100 corporate citizens, and the reason why we are on that list is because of the transparency. One of the ways that we do that, I mean, communications is key. Bottom line, communications is key in whatever you do in the citizenship area. And it's not really about tooting your own horn, because a lot of people go out and you say, oh, look at me, I'm so good, I do these kind of things. That's not really what it's about at all. It's trying to provide relevant information that your stakeholders care about. Because there is information out there that they want to know. They want to be able to understand what you're doing in these particular areas. And it's also about creating a two-way dialogue. Because if you don't have that dialogue with your stakeholders, you don't know what their issues are, you don't know what their concerns are, and you don't know whether you're meeting those needs or not. So one of the best ways that we do communicate is through our annual citizenship report. We don't print it, it's online. So we do have a summary report that you can download, but you can go online to our website and see our annual citizenship report. But that's once a year. So you've got to have that ongoing dialogue. Throughout the year, we have a database of their stakeholders that we send information out to, and through newsletters, we do social media, we do some other things to be able to keep those stakeholders engaged. But I wanted to talk just a little bit about reporting and why I think that's really good for return on investment. So we talked about these lists and things. Certainly that helps us build our reputation and influence, but also with dealing with those individual stakeholders that we're talking about, it saves us time. So before we started doing the public reporting, we get hundreds of inquiries from our customers wanting supplier questionnaires, and we might get a different answer from China than we would in Japan than we would in the US. Now that we have our citizenship reporting, all of that information is consistent. We know it's been vetted, it's been verified, and that's the answer that we can go back and we can give those customers or the stakeholders that may be inquiring about this. We can just point them to the link on the website that has the information available there. So it really saves us time in the end. And how we do that, as a matter of fact, just last month, I had a sales manager email and say, thank you so much for having this information out there. I was in a customer meeting, the customer asked me about a particular issue, I knew it was in the report, I was able to direct them there and then be able to get our meeting back on track with what we needed to be able to do. So it also allows us to sort of see what our stakeholders' concerns are so that we can try to be proactive in addressing what the next issues may be coming up, and instead of reactive as well. So finally is about investment plus involvement equals impact. That's really the bottom line here. And I think one of the new trends that's coming out in citizenship is about the whole notion of collective impact. And there's a lot of activity going on around this where companies are really coming together to try to tackle specific issues. So we have a lot of those examples here in our own community as well. United Way is one of those. They've set 2020 goals where are around education, income, and health, where they're going to be trying to measure specific activities. Companies come together to try to make an impact on that. There's the Mass Care Task Force Initiative, which has 4 nonprofits that have come together to try to address our disaster preparedness needs here for this region in case of a major disaster. There's a new activity called Commit that is really focused on education transformation in the Dallas County area. And then we've got on a national level, there's Change the Equation. That's an organization that TI is a part of because they're really focused on over 100 companies that are coming together to really make changes in science and math education, since that is an important issue for us as well. So any of you involved in any of these kind of collective impact areas? Yeah, I know Pam is here. So bottom line is the real impact is the difference that you can make on the individuals and the quality of life in the communities where you live. And those rewards are really the greatest. So thank you.
Tricia, thank you.